Okay, wonderful. So I am really excited about sharing this information with all of you. Make sure that I get rid of the background. Okay. Mm, let's see. I'm going to just work on the sound really quickly. One second. Okay. So I think we might just have an echo, but hopefully you guys will be okay. Periscopers, can you hear me okay? Let me see some hearts so that I can know that you can hear me. Okay, so as mentioned, my name is Quenisha McNair, and I'm very excited to share with you some great information about finding distressed sellers so that you can really know all of the value that's around you in your community, in your family, within your network. There are opportunities for you right now, I guarantee you, for you to find a property and flip, but you just have to know where to look. And so we have prepared a webinar so that we can just share with you some details. I hope that you have pen and paper available because it's going to be very important for you to take notes. But more importantly, it's going to be important for you to make sure that you're connecting with this movement and this information. We want to make sure that we are equipping people with the opportunities to get involved in real estate investing in 2016. Add another stream of income to your revenue streams. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. I'm actually up to 5, and I'm so excited about that because I've been working on building systems. I'm certainly not a millionaire by no means, but real estate investing is one of the more fun ways that I'm able to create revenue because it's such an awesome, creative, independent space for me to operate in. Let me just tell you guys, what I love about investing is that I'm able to develop solutions. Many of the people that I help are going through foreclosure. Many of the people that I help have lost, family members who have left them with properties that they now have on their hands. And I'm basically helping them to create solutions, but it's such a specialized industry that you're not just paid any measly amount for what you do. I tell my mentees all the time, the average commission on every wholesale deal is $7,500. So if you think about on average closing 2 or 3 deals a year on average at $7,500 a pop, you can see how this could become a very fun and lucrative way to build money. So I want to share with you guys some information. I'm going to share my screen now. Hopefully you can see it. And we're going to have a conversation all about real estate investing. So Periscopers, I'm going to let you. I am in a nice coffee shop. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm going to give you a chance to join our webinar this evening. So make sure you're sharing this feed. We want to make sure everyone has a chance to see it. So really quickly, so today, this is always my welcome message. I always let people know how excited I am to really share with you some great information about real estate investing and my experience. But I wanted to do that because I want you guys to know that this isn't just something that I'm excited about today, but this is what I've been doing over close to 10 years now. Before it became a cliche thing, real estate investing has always been a very big part of my life, and it's actually the career path that I chose for myself when I was in the corporate world. And so I'm very passionate about real estate. I love what it does for communities. I love how it helps people. I love how it produces opportunities for us to build wealth. And so we're going to talk all about tonight how to find distressed properties and sellers. Now, for those of you who are on Periscope, I love interaction. So make sure that you're chiming in. Make sure that you're asking questions. I want to make sure that I can answer them so that we can continuously share this information with our family and friends so that we can help them discover ways that they can create extra income as well. All right, so right there you see what is the difference between a distressed seller lead and a distressed property lead. And it's very simple. Distressed seller leads are very different from distressed property leads because distressed properties are just those abandoned properties that you see out and about when you're driving. How many of you have ever seen like a barn type home and it looks like it suffered a fire and all of these crazy things have happened to it and it's just sitting there abandoned? Those are distressed properties. Distressed properties aren't always advantageous, but distressed sellers are. because oftentimes distressed sellers are facing financial circumstances or life circumstances that require them to make urgent and quick decisions about their property. And oftentimes these distressed sellers have properties that are located in areas where the equity still stands and there's still an opportunity for an individual to extract value from that property. And so it's our role as the investor to basically be a matchmaker, to really connect the dots. And so distressed sellers are property owners who urgently need to release or unload their property, or they are at risk of losing their home to foreclosures. And it is always better to find distressed sellers versus distressed properties. Now, why are distressed seller leads so valuable? First of all, leverage. One of the things that I said when we first started this webinar is that distressed seller leads offer you access to, really the distressed seller leads offer you access to those individuals who need to make an urgent decision, allowing you to initiate the relationship, entering into a contractual relationship with that distressed seller that controls essentially the finances of the deal. For example, if I meet an individual who's going through or has gone through a divorce and they need to unload the property quickly and the home appraises for 350,000, but they only owe 75,000 on the home and they just want to get rid of it as quickly as possible, then I'm able to offer them, let's just say $150,000 on a home that appraises for 350, but now I have the benefit of establishing the expectation. So if I offer this contract to an investor, to a rehabber, in the capacity of a wholesaler, then I have the benefit of being able to set those numbers. When you are entering into a real estate deal, having control over the numbers is so important because you're able to make sure that you're always able to set up a profit for all parties involved, not just for you, but for everyone else. The second thing is control. Finding distressed seller leads gives you the advantage of heavily influencing the acquisition price, which gives you the ability to create the income that you desire. A lot of times people ask me, how much have you made off of wholesale deals? And I tell people all the time the average income on a wholesale deal is about $7,500. That's typically the average commission. But I have some students, like one student is about to make 17,000 off of a deal, and it was because we were able to negotiate a low price with a distressed seller. And then investors with cash are looking for individuals with solid leads. When you have access to distressed seller leads, there are so many investors that are like literally knocking down your door. I have a guy who texts me probably every 3 days asking if I have anything, just because he wants to be the first to know about any leads that I may have. They stand to make $50,000, $60,000 off of each deal, especially with rehabbing profits, but they need to find deals that we have. So hopefully you guys are catching all of this information. Most common mistakes. The most common mistakes that people make is first and foremost, it's always great to have a great broker agent relationship when you're getting into real estate investing. But one of the things that you want to make sure of is that your real estate agent or broker is pulling properties for you that are not on the MLS system. Because when it hits the MLS system, there are thousands of agents with relationships around that region that are going to be competing for the same property. I personally like to find properties that are under the radar. I like to find properties that no one knows about. I like to find properties that are available to me prior to the MLS system even knowing about them. Some of my most successful deals have never made it to the MLS system because I look for distressed sellers. There's so many places where you're able to find these sellers, and we're going to talk about that shortly. But I want to quickly allow you guys to read, and I'll read off this image so that you can see what some common mistakes are. Samantha wants to become a real estate investor. She decides to check the MLS system for foreclosed properties. She forgot that thousands of others have access to the same database, which is the reason why she is having difficulty finding solid leads. Samantha should have worked with a mentor. Don't be like Samantha. Real estate investing is something where you are able to really maximize the time that you invest, but you have to know where to look and what to do. So the first thing I should say, and I say to everyone, stop looking where everyone is looking. Power takeaway: leave no stone unturned. Here are some great ways to find distressed seller leads. before they make it to the MLS system. It sounds a little crash, but scan through your local newspaper and look at the obituary section. Some of these families are being left with properties that they have to now do something with, and you can help them solve those problems while also creating an income opportunity for yourself and helping an investor find a great property. I had a young man who actually inherited a property. He lived in Virginia Beach. The property was in Beltsville, Maryland. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know anything about the market. All he wanted to do was pay off his father's debt and get rid of it. It was his father's home. He had lived in it for probably 40 or 50 years. It had not been touched since the 70s, no improvements, no upgrades. And so we were able to get him a great cash deal for the property so that he was able to unload it, pay off his father's estate, go back to Virginia Beach, and know that his business in the DC area had been satisfied. So that's a classic example of how scanning through the obituary section could be helpful. Also, making sure that you check your local register of deeds. Hey, Bree, I hope you can hear me okay. The Register of Deeds is a great place to find pre-foreclosures. A lot of times people are so excited about finding foreclosure properties, but it is a lot harder to deal with the bank than it is to deal with an actual distressed seller. I personally like when properties are in pre-foreclosure because the default and the notice of intent to file foreclosure is typically filed at the Register of Deeds office. You can reach out to those individuals and let them know that you have an opportunity to help to save their circumstances, prevent them from going to foreclosure, and also perhaps giving them some restart my life cash. A lot of my distressed sellers, I offer a cash incentive for them working with me because many people, if they're selling their home and they're in a distressed situation, what they need more than anything is a few $1,000s of cash. And so I always try to do something for my sellers so that they know that I care not just about the deal, but about them and them being whole. So the Register of Deeds is a great place to find pre-foreclosures because you get a chance to work directly with the seller while they still have a relationship with the bank, and the bank is more apt to work with you on the seller's behalf. And I will tell you really quickly, if you're going to work with pre-foreclosures, they typically turn into short sales, which typically require a real estate agent or broker. So keep that in mind. But those individuals are apt to work with you so that you're able to negotiate a great number and then get rid of that property by offering it to a cash buyer. Tax and assessment offices. That's one of my favorite places because there are so many people who are behind on their property taxes, and you find that when they're behind on their property taxes, they are in there's a notice of default that's likely filed, and they could potentially risk losing their home. Well, you can help them by, inserting yourself into the process and creating a solution. If you decide to become a real estate investor, please know that what you are is really a problem solver. You are someone who's going to solve problems for people and make sure that those individuals are able to truly, truly benefit from your expertise. And so the tax and assessment office is a great place to also find properties that are not on the MLS system. Auctions. Some of these properties may be listed on the MLS system. Most of them are not, but auctions are a great place to find properties. At this point, the bank is typically involved. Hi, Sabrina. Welcome to the Periscope. At this point, the bank is typically involved, but the auction process gives you a chance to really get a discounted price on those properties and then engage investors who will be willing to take the contract from you at a premium, whatever you charge, which is what we call wholesaling. And personal network. This is actually really interesting because I actually have gotten 4 deals over the last 2 years from my personal network. People who are finding themselves in a jam and they don't want to tell everybody and they don't trust people outside of their network, but they'll call a person that they trust who they know may be familiar with real estate to ask how they can have their problem solved. And fortunately, because I have the skills and I've been able to learn how to do this, I'm able to step in and help them again before these properties hit the MLS system. And so I encourage each of you, if you know people who are interested in selling their home, they seem to be upside down in their home, they want to move, and they have some challenges, begin to let them know that you have a network to connect them to, and perhaps that individual can benefit from our expertise and you can help them solve a problem and create some income at the same time. In the real estate investing world, they call individuals who find solid deals bird doggers. And there's a huge benefit to being a bird dogger, knowing how to find deals that aren't commonly available and then giving those deals to cash buyers. Anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 is what people pay. Anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 is what people pay for bird dogging fees. So sometimes, and what I teach in my mentorship program is how to find and develop deals, because just finding an address and a name of a distressed seller isn't enough. You have to have a relationship with that person. You have to get an assignment contract signed so that you then can go to an investor and say, hey, I have a contract on a property and it's phenomenal and the comps are this, and there's so much value that can be brought out of this property. Would this be something that you'd be interested in rehabbing or investing in? And when they take that contract from you, they have to pay you what you charge for that fee. So bird dogging is a skill that most people don't know about, but you should be very excited about the opportunities. Okay? So three tips to finding distressed seller leads. You want to work within your personal network. As I mentioned, you just want people to know that you know people who know people. If you don't feel that your credibility is such that a person would trust you with the information, just let them know that you know people who have helped people get out of sticky situations. They don't have to call a real estate agent to solve a real estate problem. They can just call a money person and an individual can help them solve those problems. Look for people with problems that need to be solved. This is what you want to focus on. This isn't just about making money. This is about helping people. This is about truly, truly, truly helping individuals get out of tight binds. I get so frustrated when I see people go all the way into foreclosure, because there's so many ways to prevent foreclosure. You don't have to have foreclosure on your credit report. You can get rid of the property and walk away with closing cash or walk away with carrying cash as a result of allowing a person who's savvy with real estate investing to help you get out of a sticky situation. There's so many circumstances and scenarios that I could think of. Death of a family member, divorce, sudden move. I just helped a lady at the end of 2015. She was accepted into a doctorate program at UNC Chapel Hill, but she had bought a property in Baltimore. And she wasn't able to rent it, and she couldn't afford both mortgages, a rent in North Carolina and her mortgage in Baltimore. And so she had to urgently sell her property. She was truly hemorrhaging cash. And I was able to help her sell her property in 4 months. We did a flip, a wholesale deal. It was so funny. By the time we actually got the contract from her, we had an investor in Baltimore who was blowing our phone up looking for properties. And when he saw it, because she kept it in such immaculate condition, he took it on the spot. Like, he literally was ready to wire the money, the full amount for the property that day. There is no shortage of cash buyers out here, but you just got to know how to establish your network. And here's the other piece. I want to zoom in on this. Establish relationships with power partners. So you may say, well, Quenisha, who's a power partner? A power partner is a probate attorney. A power partner is perhaps someone at the clerk of court who has information about foreclosures that are being filed. A power partner may be an individual who just has access to information and also has a desire to help to see people win and prevent them from going to foreclosure. And so when you develop those relationships, you'll begin to get deals fed to you, deals that are not available on the MLS system yet, because there are so many problems being solved before they hit the MLS system. So those power partner relationships are really important. I teach my mentees the power of networking. I give them some great networking tips, places to go, so that they can meet the right type of people. They want to just not just meet professionals, but you want to meet professionals who you can partner with, and you guys can all make money together and help people at the same time. So that's something that's really important. All right. So I want you guys to hear a couple of testimonials. I'm actually just going to show one because I am going to make sure that I'm respectful of everyone's time. Give me one moment. But this one is one of my favorites because this young lady, she's actually pregnant now, but she started working. Find a deal within my network, and I found one. Now, so the program was over. So, the reason
They carry with an experienced real estate investor, wholesale agent, through the process to make sure the deal is closed and you get your check. Can't really give a mentor like Felicia with her out of the box thinking and her, getting done attitude. It's infectious and encouraging at the same time. So if you're thinking about joining the program, don't hesitate. Just do it. You won't be disappointed.
Wonderful. So I'm glad that you guys had a chance to see that, because Ayana did not know that she would be starting a family before she did this webinar. One second. But now she is. And so she has the benefit of having some different information about how to engage in real estate investing. So hopefully you can still see my screen. For those of you who are on the webinar, we have a few attendees. I'm so excited that you guys are there. Hi, Kim. Hi, Bree. So if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Periscopers, if you have any questions, if you have anything to ask, just ask it in the chat box for those of you who are on the webinar, so that we can make sure that we get all of your information. And I'm going to quickly tell you about a couple of programs that I'm excited about. But first of all, let me tell you a little bit about 2015. I've not yet gotten used to sharing success because I just come from a different school, but I love what we've been able to do as a team. There's truly no I in team, and I like the fact that I have accumulated a group of like-minded individuals who enjoy helping people through real estate investing. And so in 2015, our investment transactions valued at approximately $3.2 million, and we offered an average of a 40% discount to our investors. We were able to help save 7 people from foreclosure. We have two deals that should be closing in the month of February. So we're starting off the year strong, helping prevent foreclosure for 2 individuals. And we also have 100% of our mentees either closed deals or successfully completed their deal. And so I have a couple people who were either on the Periscope or this webinar who are already registered for our upcoming mentorship program. But if you've ever thought about making more money, and wanted to learn a cool and lucrative skill, or you want to just develop the confidence to become a real estate investor, because what I know to be true is that most women don't realize how easy it is, how simple it is to invest in real estate. They actually feel that it's a lot more challenging. And if we had that support system in place, they would feel a lot more confident. So I want to make sure that you guys have my email address. It's qnicoleofrealestate@gmail.com. qnicoleofrealestate@gmail.com. The special pricing is actually almost over, so you really want to make sure that you move with urgency. This slide is about 2 weeks old, and we are closing out the programs because we are excited about the people that we're going to be helping around the country. Let me just make sure that I tell you a little bit about both of our programs. The Inner Circle program is available for those individuals who just are, interested. They're not in the Washington, D.C. area. They want to get involved in real estate investing. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to look for properties. And they also need some sort of coaching and accountability. Here's the deal. Real estate investing is such a fun activity because it doesn't take all of your time. I tell people that I typically spend about 3 to 5 hours a month and, just really working on my real estate deals. But I have an opportunity to make great money when those deals close. Not every deal closes. I don't promise magic, but most of my deals do close because we've developed a system and we know how to develop solid deals so that when we are developing them, we can increase the probability of them closing. And so our Inner Circle program is available for people outside of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. You can either choose an 8 or 12-month contract period, and you get some phenomenal things with this program. First of all, you get a monthly batch of distressed seller leads. Well, let me just stop and tell you that you should just be like super elated to not have to go and look for those distressed seller leads all on your own. But in addition to getting trained on how to find them and coaching on where to go to look for them and how you need to make sure that you make slight adjustments so that you can be a solid, treasure hunter, you also are going to get a monthly batch of leads to work with. You get group accountability, one-on-one email access. to me, which is how you get your individual coaching and then also group coaching. We have 2 coaching calls a month on Thursday evenings, and we're excited to share with you all of what we share as it relates to growing your knowledge on how to invest in real estate with little to no money down. And our premium members get deal negotiation assistance, which I love because so many times you know what to do, you read the manual, you go through the process, but when it's time to pick up the phone and talk to a distressed seller, or when that seller greets you at the door after you knock on it and they say, hey, I am interested in what you have to say, then a lot of times that's when the butterflies emerge. Or you could pick up the phone and call me, and my experience will allow me to speak to that seller and make sure that I'm able to close a deal for you. And so that's really important, especially on your first group of deals, because you don't want to blow anything just based on nerves. So this Inner Circle program is really fun. I'm excited about all of the ladies who have already gotten started in the program. We're going to be launching within the next 2 weeks, and so I want to make sure that you guys have all of the information about it. If you're interested, qnicoleofrealestate@gmail.com. Reach out to me ASAP so that you can get involved. I mean, we have people in Tennessee, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago. People are just chiming in. We are working on getting their leads. We are researching their areas and finding distressed seller leads in their backyard and emailing them to them on a monthly basis so that they can have practical application to support the information that they're going to receive. That's the way that my programs are designed. It's information, it's practical application, and then there's guidance. There's the mentorship. So let's talk about the intensive program. This program is so fun because for those who have the opportunity to be in the Washington, D.C. area and work with me, you get to work with me one-on-one. We get to work together in person. We go through a 60-day journey, not all 60 days, obviously, but multiple hours throughout that time frame where we truly create a workshop that gives you an opportunity to find, develop, and close deals within the program. There are some great perks to this program. First and foremost, you get great training and information. We get out in the trenches. We walk communities. We evaluate properties together. We go over contracts together. We make phone calls together. We do role playing, negotiations, etc. But then once you get your deal developed and it's time to find the investor, well, because you're in the Washington, D.C. market and because you're in this program, you get access to my dream team, my group of investors, my broker, my title attorneys, my hard money lenders, anyone that's necessary to close the deal. You don't have to look outside of this program because we're going to furnish you with those individuals. And that creates such a win-win-win because you are able to develop a deal through a practical application of the information that you're learning and then close the deal and receive a check, which is a return on your investment in in the program. And what I love about these programs is, guys, they're tax write-offs. This is education. And so you're learning how to make more money, but yet you can write off the very expense for both of these programs. So if you have any questions about real estate investing. If you have any questions, you can follow me on Periscope. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Nicole McNair. I'm the same everywhere in real life. And I also want to make sure that you see my website, qnicolemcnair.com. Any questions that you have about investing, about the programs that were mentioned, please make sure that you reach out quickly because for those of you who have not yet committed, we are filling up and I only take a small group for both programs because I want to give my absolute all. As I mentioned, I have 5 streams, so I need to make sure that I'm giving 100% in excellence in everything that I do. But I want to make sure that I let you guys know about all of that. Thank you so much, and everybody have a great evening.